So there are just so many reasons why I think we should be growing our own food, or at least working towards growing our own food in 2024 and beyond. So let's get straight into it. So one of the first reasons I believe is so important is for food security. So what is that? Well, let's go back to 2020 when the whole world was pretty much put on standstill on a global lockdown. And I don't know if you remember, but for me, walking into the stores, the shops, and seeing barely any food on the shelves, that was a pretty scary moment, and a realization that all of a sudden this convenience of food, just going into the store and picking up pretty much whatever you want, was all of a sudden not there anymore. So it really triggered a few things in me and my brother Nick to basically get growing and simply just starting sowing a few seeds and seeing where it took us. And it's been now 4 or 5 years, and it's been one of the best decisions we have ever made. So number one is food security, and just being able to know that, okay, you might not be able to grow everything. We can't grow everything here in the UK, but we do our best to grow quite a varied selection of produce. So yes, we are fortunate we have some space and we have a market style garden, but let's say you can't even have access to a large enough space to grow a substantial amount of produce for you and your family, let's say. Maybe there are some food projects, friends, family who might have an allotment that maybe you could team up with, do some collaborations where you could get involved. You know, even if you live in a very small apartment and you get some sunlight, you can also grow some microgreens, you could sprout some seeds, you could grow some leafy greens, because they are very nutritionally dense and they do not take up a lot of space at all. So even just making a tiny little initial step, and you could add these to your soups, smoothies, juices, just having that form of food security, be it on a big scale or just a small scale, I think is an amazing thing to get going. Number two, why I think it is so essential to be growing our own food is also for the personal health benefits. And I'm talking about the mental health and the physical health. And I talk from experience here, because when we started growing back in spring of 2020, it was incredible to see how much more lighter and just connected with food and nature I had become. And I know there was a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world back then, and stress levels were super high, but I was probably in one of the best moods I've ever been in, because I was just hands in the soil, barefoot, watching these seeds turn into the most incredible creations, and it just completely blew my mind. And it really surprised me a bit, because I just didn't expect to experience those personal benefits. It was phenomenal. And then from a physical health standpoint, you're active, you're moving. So even if you might be getting stressed out by the media, and those cortisol levels, those stress hormones are building in your body, and you're just feeling tense and in fight or flight mode, by getting out in the garden or the allotment or a food project, getting your hands in the soil. And I mean, Nick and I are advocates of walking barefoot. We love it. And we put shoes on in some places, but when we're in the garden, most of the time we are barefoot, and that feeling, that connection, that grounding is immense. And there's actually a lot of scientific research now out supporting about the health benefits of walking barefoot and connecting with the earth. It's absolutely amazing. And the third reason why I think it's so essential to be growing our own food in 2024 and beyond is food quality. Now, I don't know where I heard this from, but I heard someone say the other day that a tomato today is something like 20 times, or an average tomato today is something like 20 times less nutritious than the average tomato, 10 or so years ago. And when we look at the way industrial farming has gone, and the soil quality and the pollution in the air and the soil and the water, you can start to see how this could be the case. And I tell you what, when we start harvesting some of our produce and we try the tomatoes, the cucumbers, we even get lucky sometimes when we can grow melons in the polytunnel, which is such a dream. But when you try that produce, the flavor, you can just taste, you are like bombarded with flavor, and you can just taste the nutrition, the health. It's phenomenal. And that the dark colors in the skin of the tomatoes, the aubergines, it's just phenomenal. They're so high in antioxidants and chlorophyll in the kale and the spinach that we grow. The dark green, the dark kind of greeny blue colors in that Cavolo Nero kale, it's just loaded full of chlorophyll, which is so, alkalizing on the body, amazing for our immune systems. So it's just phenomenal. And like I said at the start, even if you don't have a huge area, what could you grow? What could you grow on your windowsill? Or what project or what friend or family could you get involved with to grow? Even if you grew some leafy greens on your windowsill and your friends grew, onions or whatever, just taking that initial step can be just game changing. And so these are just 3 of the many reasons why I think we should be growing our own food in 2024. Now, recently we have revamped and updated our grow guides and Nourish Garden Planner. This information is just stuff that we have collected and learned over the last few years since we started our food growing journey. And we used to give them out to the people who attended our workshops, but now what we're doing is just to help with food independence, food security, and just getting people more empowered and educated. You can download them for free, which you can go check out in the link in the description, and you can read about what it is in the planner and some of the things you can learn. But also you can get in touch with us. We'll put our social media in the links and just get in touch. We love to connect. Nick and I love to connect with people. And so we look forward to hearing from you. Take it easy, guys. Let's get growing, and we'll see you soon, all right?